Hi, it's Chris and welcome to another video. Another look back at the music papers. This time it's from April the 5th, 1980, and an edition of Sounds. And we've got Susie and the Banshees on the front cover. Just bought out Happy House around about this time. And then we've got Ian Dury joining the Stranglers as guests, and look at some of the people that were playing with the Stranglers. I would have loved to have been at that gig. John Cooper Clarke, Steel Pulse, the members, Cure, Robert Fripp, Hazel O'Connor, fantastic stuff. So Santana, a new single from their new album. Album's Marathon, singles All I Ever Wanted, which is great stuff. Pink Floyd playing at the Milton Keynes Bowl. So some more tour dates, and then over the page, big advert for Wheels of Steel album and single and the tour from the band Saxon, big part of the new wave of British heavy metal, which was obviously really big at this time. And then we've got 6 dates from the Scorpions. I saw them on that tour actually, the last date, which was at Southampton Gaumont. And if memory serves me right, I don't know if I've just dreamt this up, that Michael Schenker guested at that particular gig just for a song at the end. I may have dreamt that up, but hopefully I haven't, but I can't remember it vividly, but I've just got this in my head that he did. And then we've got some general record news, few more tour dates and so on, and then over the page on through the night tour with Def Leppard and Magnum. Did see Def Leppard on that tour, saw them at Southampton. I thought Magnum were really poor actually, but Def Leppard were really good. And then we've got stuff about the Beach Boys and some new dates from Genesis, who scheduled their tour. I was going to go and see them in Bournemouth and it was cancelled, and so it was rescheduled for Southampton and I couldn't go on that date, so I remember getting my money back, I think it was. And then down the bottom we've got adverts for B.B. King at the Hammersmith Odeon and Sammy Hagar and Riot, who I did see at Portsmouth in that particular year. And then over the page, High Fidelity, new album from Elvis Costello, great album, kind of Motown influence album. And then we've got records. So the alternative chart was always cracking, I thought, in Sounds. Again, nice mix here of new wave of British heavy metal. We've got some reggae in there. We've got some post-punk with kind of Killing Joke. A real mix of stuff. One of These Days by Trespass, that's new wave of British heavy metal, very Thin Lizzy-esque. But that sits amongst Dead Kennedys and Stiff Little Fingers. A kind of bizarre chart, but really interesting stuff. And then we've got the albums at the bottom there. Adam and the Ants. And then the heavy metal charts, which were always, I always found really interesting. A lot of it wasn't heavy metal. I Like to Rock by April Wine, God dear. Def Leppard in there. Good mix of stuff again. Dear Miss Lonely Hearts, not very heavy metal, but anyway. And then we've got the disco chart, and then the rock and roll chart. And then we've got the US singles with Another Brick in the Wall at number 1. And then the US charts is topped by Pink Floyd as well. And then the British singles were Going Underground, Dreams of Children at number 1. What a tremendous combination that is. Again, some really good songs there. Echo Beach, I love that song, it's tremendous. Spirit of Radio, Rush. Some really good singles from 1980. 1980 was a brilliant year for music. Great year for rock, great year for kind of ska, post-punk. These are the albums. Johnny Mathis, Rose Royce, Marty Webb, Status Quo. That's not... It's the Shadows. I've just said it's a great year for music, and look what was selling, loads. Anyway, some good albums going on there. Psychedelic Furs, Pretenders, Parallel Lines. So that's the 75 albums. And then we've got the playlists. Always struggled with Gary Bushell, if I'm honest. Again, nice mix of stuff. And then the mod chart. The Kinks at number 1, Booker T. The Who. Good variety of stuff in there, including some up-to-date stuff with like Purple Heart, Secret Affair. And then we've got 5 years ago, 10 years ago, And then the imports. I used to love the import chart. I used to go to Flyover Records. In fact, I think this could be from Flyover Records. I used to go up to London from where I lived in Poole, and quite often visit Flyover Records in Hammersmith and buy quite a lot of the albums that are either on this chart or recommended via Sounds. And then we've got the reggae chart up here as well. Okay, so over the page. Really a fascinating article here about, they mentioned about Iron Maiden. Look what they say at the bottom there. It would seem that the heavy metal punk crossovers been going a bit longer than we'd imagined. Well, they're still going. They're still going 44 years later, so it can't be that bad, can it? And then over the page we've got the Beach Boys' latest album, which I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I can't imagine it was very good, but I may be wrong. Fad Gadget. And then an advert at the bottom there for Talk of the Town by the Pretenders, which I thought was a fantastic single. Brilliant. One of the few singles where the single version is longer than the album version. And then we've got Jean-Jacques Burnel from the Stranglers, article on him. And then the new single from Sham 69. I think they'd gone by then, because I thought Tell the Children was rubbish compared with the other stuff that they had done previously in sort of 78 and 79. And then an article on Neil Peart, the drummer, sadly passed away a few years ago now, from Rush, who were massive in 1980. They just brought out Permanent Waves, saw them on that tour, fantastic stuff. And then Pauline Murray from Penetration, article on her. HMV, Genesis Records you can buy. And then we've got Gary Bushell talking to Slaughter, advert for Fog Hat at the bottom. And then over the page, nice advert for the official blues band bootleg album and their tour. I never saw that band live. I bet they would have been really, really good, you know, foot stomping, toe tapping, good stuff, I would have thought. Article on Jimmy Percy. That continues over the page. And then an advert for, I think, The Cure's greatest moment. I love this song. My favourite post-punk song, A Forest. Absolutely tremendous. And some good singles as well. So I can see, obviously, there, Call Me by Blondie. And A Forest. And the decline, I think, of the Ramones. Do you remember Rock and Roll Radio with the Phil Spector produced album End of the Century, which was the beginning of the end for me with the Ramones. Great band up until that point. Although there's some reasonable moments on that album. And then over the page we've got an article, double page article, or pretty much double page, on Pat Travers, who probably had his most successful time around about 80. I saw him at Reading that year. He was very, very good. He was played in a 4-piece. They were very good. And then we've got the Skids advert, and then kind of a redo of the classic album Club Scar 67. Oops. Middle page spread on Susie and the Banshees, and Susie doing her very best to look like the guy from sensational Alex Harvey band there, I think, but anyway. Girl on Tour, continuation of the Susie centre spread. Band Flies, who never really came to anything. 4.5 stars for Iron Maiden. Bad Manners gets 5 stars. There's no justice. British Steel gets 5 stars. That's Judas Priest. And then we've got Duke by Genesis, 4 stars. And 5 stars is Women and Children First by Van Halen, which I think is one of their better albums. And then second album from UK Subs, Brand New Age, which is really good. That gets 5 stars as well. Good album. And then this is, I used to love this page used to have a magnifying glass, but I used to love looking through all the singles. Now, I'd want to buy quite a lot off that list, especially at those prices, good grief. Would have loved to have bought quite a lot of those. This is like a little bit like my wants list, if I'm honest. Some great stuff on there. Stiff Records, Adrian's records there. And then some other album reviews. Chris Rea, Shooting Star, Kevin Coyne. Some little articles. Oh, an advert for Pete Frame's Rock Family Trees. I think that's a tremendous book. I absolutely love that book. I quite often used to love poring over that for hours. Mental as Anything, advert for their debut album. Cartoon page with the Kurt Weill cartoon at the bottom there. And then a little bit of band equipment, amps and mixers and so on. The horoscope. And then some tour dates. We've got tour reviews. So we've got Genesis at Hammersmith, Dexys at Newcastle, and right at the bottom there we've got the Jam playing at Santa Monica in Los Angeles. Gary Newman concert review. The pop group Swell Maps. I can't imagine the Swell Maps being great live. I know someone's now going to put in the comments that they were tremendous. I can't see that, but anyway. Madness playing at the Whiskey, Los Angeles. Psychedelic Furs, Magnum. Something on Sammy Hagar, the crossword that no one ever used to do. And then loads of tour dates. And I always say this on these videos. To have a time machine to take you back to some of those concerts. You could go to a concert Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just be fantastic. And look at some of the bands that are playing here. The Vapors, spelt wrong. Iron Maiden, Athletico, Spiz, 80, Tempole, Tudor, Slaughter, Gary Glitter. Def Leppard and Magnum. And then more tour dates. In fact, you could go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And then we've got the classifieds, the usual kind of stuff, discos, records for sale, personal ads. Same over here. Some giant, there's the Jam shoe. God, fantastic. And then we've got badges and so on badges. They were really big on the back of denim jackets, two-tone belts. Very latest kind of stuff in mod. And then at the top, yeah, we're still hanging on to the cheesecloth, which is good to see. And then we've got the letters. Always used to make me laugh when you used to have the addresses of all these people, and quite often the photograph of the people who sent in the letter as well. And then on the back, an advert for Genesis Duke. There you go. That's the Sounds newspaper from April the 5th, 1980. Cheers all.